Saturday View, of course, had a dramatic effect on the course of the 1990 presidential election. Here's Rodney's own comment, looking back from that last edition of Saturday View.
Now, we decided not to close my stewardship here with a lengthy look back over the years, but there's one seminal moment that stands out, dare I say, in an historical sense. In November 1990, in the week before the presidential election, the late Brian Lenihan put his election hopes at risk with a failure of mature recollection about phone calls to President Hillary in an attempt to have Charlie Haughey reinstalled as Taoiseach back in 1982. If Lenihan lost ground with that, he was reinstalled as favourite after Haughey fired him from the cabinet. The sympathy vote may have made him undefeatable. But then Padraic Flynn appeared on Saturday View and had this to say about Mary Robinson.
She was pretty well constructed for this campaign by her handlers, the Labour Party and the Workers' Party. She has her new clothes and her new look and her new hairdo, and she has the new interest in family, being a mother and all that kind of thing. But none of us who knew Mary Robinson very well in previous incarnations ever heard her claiming to be the great wife and mother.
Can I interrupt the Minister?
Just a second, Michael.
Now wait a moment. Mary Robinson reconstructs herself to fit the fashion of the time.
That's outrageous.
So we have this thing about you can be substituted at will, whether it's the pro-socialism thing or the pro-contraception or pro-abortion or whatever it is. But at least we should know
that's outrageous.
That Mary
outrageous
Robinson,
and desperate.
Michael McDowell?
I was going to ask you, since you'd read the front page of the Irish Times, whether you had read the interior of the Irish Times and would be therefore in a position to comment on what Mr. Brown said about his view, which he expounded to the people of Wexford, that Mary Robinson supported abortion and would turn Áras an Uachtaráin into an abortion clinic. I now have it from you that you are throwing the same dirt at her. I think really you're a disgrace, Mr. Flynn. I think you are quite a disgrace, and I think you should withdraw the remarks you've made. And I also heard you, listen to me now for a second, it's about time, Minister and all as you are, that you learn some manners. It's about time that you realise that you can't say that that lady has a new interest in her family. She's a family woman. I know her family, and I think it's disgusting to hear you using the kind of
I'm very glad, Rodney, that retort came from a member of a party who is in government with Mr. Flynn.
Labour's Brendan Howlin.
I think it's an outrageous statement, but typical of what's happening all over the country now. No dirt is too awful, no smear too great. How dare he attack Mrs. Robinson's family and suggest she has a new interest in it. She's never in her life supported abortion. But you come on this programme to repeat that lie and that smear again. How many times does it have to be said? You come from the view that if you repeat the lie often enough, that some people will believe it.
I'll tell you, that was quite a day. And Charlie McCreevy later told me that on that Saturday morning he'd been on a dream canvass in the Fianna Fáil candidate's cause. He and his party workers went into a pub for tea and sandwiches. When they resumed their canvass, they found doors being slammed in their faces, he said. They hadn't heard the programme, they didn't understand why. Well, in reality, Minana Heron had been born, and a week later, Mary Robinson was our first non-Fianna Fáil president in the history of the office.